Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. I'm using StreamYard this time. I think Zoom does not allow me to render everything in higher quality. These webcams that I'm using are 4K, so at least this will be 1080p. Plus, I can have the little banner at the bottom. It's about to update real quick pretty soon here with my new website and then the new partnering with Team BC. I'm also going to edit it a little bit. So for now, if you want to follow me, just go to briancasella.com or go to Instagram. All right. Shout out to Modern Success. Everything else that I have to offer, you can find it on my website. All right, let's begin. Let's start with this, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, this is what I want you to think about as I ask you this question. Who have you allowed access into the depths of your soul and your mind? Okay. Who have you allowed into the depths of your soul and your mind? And this is what I'm going to refer to. The people that are in here, in the depths of your subconscious mind, in your soul, right in here, right? The deepest, darkest parts of you, they affect you at every level, which means input comes in from the world. You filter it with them in mind. You make a decision on your career, your emotional state, what you're going to do, your goals, your aspirations, your standards, all of that is affected by those people that you have allowed into your mind. And I want you to think about that for a second, because many of you have unconsciously ranked some people up here that you have no business putting in there. The automatic ones that are shoved in there, friends, family, right? Now, do we really want them there? Let's say you're starting a new career, right? Like many of you who follow me, you're entrepreneurs, you're real estate people, right? Would you want somebody up here who's an authority giving you advice in regards to real estate and entrepreneurship who has no experience ever being an entrepreneur for that decision-making process? Would it make any sense for me to filter everything through them, even if I'm not asking them something? Well, of course not. Yet we do that. We've unconsciously given them permission to be in our mind at all times. Now, everybody has snuck into your head. This is why you're so unstable emotionally. This is why you want to go right, but then you feel like you're being pulled left. You have your own voice conflicting with another voice. That's all those people, right? Imagine your mind is a boardroom and you're going to make a decision. You're there, the judge with the gavel. And in front of you, instead of being a copy of yourself that would be talking to you, what is it? It's a sea of people, who have been unknowingly appointed to make decisions for you and dictate how you feel and all these other important things in your life, your standards, how you should run your relationships, your perception on life, your viewpoints on certain things. Those people, you're looking around and you're almost like, wait, if you were to stop for a second, you would say, wait, who are all these people? This is me. I'm making a decision. Maybe one person there, like a mentor or a coach that you assign to help you, sure, have them there, because then you can have a back and forth. But you are still the ultimate authority, though, at the end of the day. We've lost that. So now you're not even living your own life anymore. You're living other people's lives. This is, by the way, a deeper level psychological description of why people cannot detach from things such as other people's opinions and criticisms. They struggle to take their own unique path in life or to make their own decisions. They struggle to set goals and true purpose for themselves because they can't even think for themselves. They're so diluted and polluted up here with other people's thoughts and opinions and standards that they can't even do it. Right? So I'm giving you a better description of that, a deeper level description of that. This is how you, in common terms, unplug. I don't want to say the Matrix because that's become cliche. This is how you unplug from groupthink and you start to use your logic and reason, and your own mechanism of logic and reason isn't polluted to where you're not even thinking. It's become normal now to not think. Bullshitting on YouTube, Netflix, binge watching shows, We've made that a normal thing. That's not a normal thing in my life. It never will be. I'm not just going to turn off my mechanism. Why? Why would you want to do that? What do you need a break from? You're not even thinking. It's beautiful when you start to think. Many of you who follow me, who like my ideas, this isn't shit I'm reading out of a book. This is stuff I'm learning myself, using my own mind to assess. And as I gather experience to assess the information and data coming in, to then extract it and then understand it some more, and then give it back to you. This is why I know what I have to offer in regards to events and coaching and products is unique. You're not going to find it somewhere else. Some things, sure. Other things, absolutely not. I'm employing the logic and reason. I'm using it more and more often. I'm using it day to day, even in mundane situations where people just turn off their mind. I'm there and I'm aware. And it's a beautiful thing. You can activate it. It's dormant within you. This is something that has to become habitual for you. Once you do this regularly, now it's a normal thing and it's not a big deal and you don't have to use so much brain power to do it. But thinking is not a chore. Using your logic and reason is great. It gives me a more richer experience of life, a more meaningful experience of life, and more fulfillment and all the other stuff. So we have to look at this thing from the proper perspective, but you first have to take stock, right? I have these little Post-it / flashcards. I would make it a point after this podcast, if you're driving or listening to it while you're doing something else, and if you're listening right now and you are at a desk or somewhere where you can write, start writing and think of different things in your life and decisions that you're going to make in different areas of your life and say, okay, if I'm going to post something on Facebook as an example, who am I concerned in regards to their opinions of what I'm going to post? If I posted something controversial, who would I be thinking of that would say something to me? Or would I be worried about that post would trigger? That's who you need to write down. Those are the people living in your mind. Because the next step is to effectively detach from that and be your own individual who's self-reliant in their own thought process. Then when you do something on the outside and input comes in, something from the outside, let's say that opinion or criticism, you can address it at that level. That's where you're supposed to address it. It's not supposed to be pre-addressed to where now it's a filter for what you do and how you think. You see, this is what dumbs you down. This is how they brainwash people and put them in little groups. They put a stranglehold on their thought process and everything at that level to where now their just experience of life is already so filtered that they believe what they're thinking and doing is real when it's not. They've dumbed down that ability in themselves so much and unknowingly. Why? This is piled onto you since you're a kid. Your thoughts and opinions about certain things have been piled into you. You don't remember age 1 through 10, most of you. You probably have very little memories of it, especially particular conversations that formulated your thought process. I'm sure you don't remember it. I would almost guarantee that you don't. If you do, great, because this is how you can start peeling back the layers to get to the root of that. But we're not focused on that. We're focused on the individuals whose thoughts and opinions and voices are stuck in our mind. Identify it. Then use your rationale and ask yourself, why have I appointed this person in my mind? Why do I care what their opinion is when I post on Facebook? You are more concerned about what a random person is going to tell you on the internet than you have respect for yourself to live your life, if you really think about it. Isn't that a sad affair, ladies and gentlemen, when we've gotten to that point? Someone that you don't know on the internet has more control over you than you have of yourself in your decision-making process. That's weakness. You're weak if you're affected by that. Now, I used to be. So I used to be weak, but I broke free from that. I don't deal with that anymore. And it's a beautiful thing. You unlock something in you when you can do it. And I'm saying weak, so it triggers people and they do something about it. Unless you've specifically, by choice, put somebody there, a coach, a mentor, whatever it is, in that area of your life, okay, then you can run it by them, but it's still your final decision. And remember that. But man, when we talk about the average things that people are dealing with, lack of energy, drive, motivation, purpose, afraid to take action, all those things are encompassed in this category. You handle this, it's a domino effect. That's why I love talking about these things. This is real mindset, because it's the domino that you push over that when you handle it, knocks all the other bullshit over. And now suddenly you feel this ease, like this weight has been lifted off you. That's what real mindset techniques, learnings, understandings, that's what that does for you. It releases the shackles in your mind, peels back these layers that have been put on, and sometimes not even by you, and gets you back to that clean slate. That's where you operate the most efficiently. Many of you who can't perform, you do your job. Many of you who can't possibly, we can say, execute at the level that you want to execute. Public speeches, right? Doing stuff online, video, marketing, whatever. This is one of the main things that's holding you back, and you don't even realize it because you don't take stock of it. When did we ever learn this? Never. I'm speaking to you from having done this and eradicated those rats from my mind and cockroaches that I had up here. And a lot of people mean well, but having them up there just because they mean well doesn't mean you should. When you detach from these people and the hooks and anchors that they have on you, you will be attacked. You'll be called heartless, or you don't care, or blah, 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 blah. That's not true. That's not true. That's just their assessment of the situation because they don't have the power or know-how or understanding to do what it is that you're doing. They're so pulled like 20 different ways, like a puppet, by other people's opinions and what they want and their thoughts, that they don't even understand what it's like to have those strings cut off. They think they would die if they cut those strings off, or they can't even imagine cutting those strings off. They don't even think it's possible. So this is something that you seriously, seriously need to handle. How beautiful would it be for you to wake up every day and not feel a weird pressure or stress and anxiety? How many of you would like to move forward in every area of your life, making decisions and not tripping over them or dwelling on them or pondering them for so much, and you're just smooth and you can make decisions no problem? How many of you would love to have less huge, fluctuations in your emotional state throughout the day? How many of you would be able to identify more with your true values and what you want to do and what you want to accomplish and who you want to become? All of that is the result of this work. But you have to effectively challenge these things. And one tool that I can give you, because I lectured on this for an hour last night on my coaching, but I'm going to give you one tool from what I gave them. When these things come in, attack it with your logic and reason. With what? With the power of questions. Question things. You're going to go to post something on Facebook, my example from earlier. You get a negative emotion. Ask yourself, why? Why am I getting that? Why? That's not normal. Why? This is my Facebook and I want to post my opinion on my social media. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Unless we're breaking the law, which we're not. We have freedom of speech. So far, right? To a degree. I can post whatever I want. Now, ask yourself why, and then it's going to come in. Oh, what Aunt Sally's going to say. Why do I care about what Aunt Sally's going to say about my Facebook? It's my Facebook. This is how you get to the root of these things. This is how you use your own intelligence. This is what you need to do. Now, in the beginning, you may not be able to put pen to paper to draw up these situations like I'm bringing up. You might have an aha when I bring it up. But what you need to do is fine tune and turn up like a dial your awareness throughout the day. So when you catch these moments that throw you off, especially emotionally in a negative way, you can put pen to paper and be like, oh, this is one of those moments. And you can, if you can't do it now, you can visit it later and ask yourself, why, when I went to pick up the phone, why did I get nervous and anxious? This is how you use your own intellect to rewire yourself from the inside, particularly emotionally, because you have the power to do that. I don't know if you knew that. A lot of human beings don't know what we're capable of using our logic and reason. It's incredible. It really is. These are things that I've done myself. This isn't pseudoscience or some shit I read out of a book. This is what I did. But you need to attack it with this ruthlessness. I didn't like the fact that I would get upset or nervous when I posted something on Facebook. That's not right. I would look at myself like, what's wrong with me? This is my social media. I want to post my opinion and what I'm doing. Why would I suddenly flip out? And everything that came up, I eradicated it like the weakness that it was. It was established and based on falsehoods. That's why. Why would you ever hold somebody else's opinion of what you should do higher than your own for your own life? That doesn't make any sense. In this example of the Facebook thing. And I started tying and finding out all these things and realizing and having all these realizations when I started exploring these things and asking questions that it just blew my mind. It blew my mind. And when you start to do this, man, I'm telling you, the weight of the world will be lifted off your shoulders. You have no idea how good you can feel, how much control you can have of your emotional state, and the amount of bliss, enthusiasm, boundless energy, and all these other things that you can have in your life. You have no idea until you feel it and you unlock it and you achieve it. I'm speaking to you from the position of having been on the other side and having achieved it now. No drugs, no fucking DMT, no shrooms, no ayahuasca, peyote, none of that stuff. I'm talking just using my logic and reason and purifying my system from the inside, using my mind and my communication, period. That's how you unlock these things without any external influence, except maybe me giving you some gems, right? Do this. Get on it and start to systematically put the pieces of the puzzles together of your mind, your philosophies, your values, your beliefs, your identity, and rid yourself of these thieves, of these squatters that are in your mind. If you didn't know what a squatter is, right? They're the ones that break into vacant listings and pretend like they're the tenant and they refuse to move out, right? Those are squatters. You have squatters in your mind and thieves and people who aren't paying rent and who weren't assigned to be there that you need to kick out and eradicate ruthlessly. Not cautiously, ruthlessly. Throw them out. If you ever watch Fresh Prince, right? Uncle Phil throwing out Jazz. Throw them out like that, out the front door. Head first. Get out of here. You need to declutter this, rip out the weeds, get back to that foundation, and you will operate so much better. But you have to systematically go in there and identify these moments, then do something about it. Okay? You have plenty on this podcast that you can apply, and I welcome you to do it. This is not easy. This can seem boring or unnecessary to some people, or you might have to listen to it 2 or 3 times for it to make sense. That's fine. But this is the stuff, that I geek out on. Because, man, it makes you a powerhouse as an individual. And this is why people keep coming to my coaching and coming to my events and doing all these other stuff, because there's just something there that you can't quite put your finger on that I figured out and that I keep teaching to people. And I can take these concepts and simplify them so much, I can teach them to a child and they can learn it. Now that, my friends, we can say is a superpower, because very few people on this planet can do that. Take the complex and simplify it. Take their own experiences and give it back to you in a way that you can really internalize and digest and then use and apply. And that's why I keep sharing and I keep doing this stuff. Okay? So we'll wrap it up here. I appreciate all the support. Make sure that you guys are, if you're listening on some of the audio platforms and even on YouTube, subscribe, leave a review. I really appreciate it. It helps us rise in the rankings. It seems like my podcast is doing really, really well. I think I'm averaging anywhere from 25 on a bad month to about 35 or 40,000 downloads a month, which is incredible. So I appreciate all the support. BrianCasella.com, which will be revamped soon, but that still has my coaching, my products if you want to check it out. You're welcome to message me on Instagram, Facebook. I have a new Facebook. My original one was deleted. Brian Casella 2.0 is my new YouTube channel. We have about 3,000 subscribers. Make sure you go there. And other than that, shoot me a message and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Okay? Peace.